really looking forward to my conversation with her. So let's get started, shall we? Up first, it's Mike Brown and Dave Autumn. Welcome, guys. How are you doing?
Hi, Charlie. Yeah, thanks for having us. Super excited to talk about Series 31.
Yeah, hey, Charlie. Once again, great to be here. Super excited about all the awesome things we have in this update.
Perfect. Well, if no one said it to you yet, it's the 11th of January. Welcome to 2021. I'm very excited to be here. And actually, before we dig into our first festival playlist of the year, I hear you do have a very special, highly requested car to show off first, right?
Yeah, that's right. So hot on the heels of another highly requested car, the Koenigsegg Jesko, in last month's update, we have another massively requested car, one that I think probably more than any other has been hounding us in all of our Twitter mentions for the last number of months, and that is the 2020 Corvette C8.
All right, should we take a look at it in action?
I think we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
So there it is. The Corvette C8 is officially coming to Forza Horizon 4. But Mike, Dave, can you tell us a bit more about why this is so desirable?
Well, I mean, we just saw that awesome trailer. I think it's desirable because it probably is one of the very best looking cars around at the moment. It gives you supercar performance in an awesome shell like that. Go on, Dave, tell us about the car.
Yeah, let's roll the clip. Yeah, so this is the 8th generation model, hence the C8. And I suppose the biggest difference between the C7 and the C8 is that the engine is now, it's in the middle of the car, so it's mid-engined. And that's to give the car better weight distribution and just to give it a better sports car performance. So that engine is a V8. It'll give you 495 brake horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque, and 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. So it's really, really cool performance from this car. And yeah, another really thing I just love about this car is just the styling of it. It just looks so cool. We've actually got the Z51 Performance Package version in Forza Horizon 4. So that actually comes with a few visual quirks. Like there's a really cool bumper and new spoiler, and it comes with a slight increase in performance as well. Yeah, so super, super awesome looking car. And I think what I love about it as well is it's got like quite an exotic look. It's kind of, it feels like an exotic supercar, but it's come from, from it's a Chevy Corvette, and it's like a muscle car, sports car kind of hybrid that just looks and drives really well. I suppose you're all wondering, how do I get my hands on this car? Well, this car can be unlocked by completing the Find New Road Seasonal Championship in summer. We'll be going through the entire festival playlist later, but just a little sneak peek of how to get it.
Yeah, it's an absolute stunner of a car. So it has that the performance of an Italian supercar, but it has the really aggressive looks and styling of an American muscle car. It's super exciting. Can't wait to get my hands on it in the game.
Picked up on the aggressive bit by the sounds of it pretty quickly. Not gonna lie on that. There were a couple of the new cars on the way, though, weren't there?
There are, yes. So we've also got the 1990 Camaro IROC Z. So this is another really cool muscle car, a bit older, but very iconic. So IROC actually stands for the International Race of Champions. Now, this was a race series where some of the best drivers in the world would come to compete, and they would all race in exactly the same car. So it'd all be the same stock. They'd be tuned to be exactly the same. And the reason for that, which made it so exciting, was that it was a real test of your driving capabilities, because you were all in the exact same car. It wasn't just about the performance or how you tuned it. It was purely how you could handle the car on the track. And so the Camaro was actually used as part of this race series. It was used from sort of the mid 80s, late 80s as part of this championship, which is why it's got the name IROC there. So I suppose that's kind of why it's made it a bit of a cult classic. It was popular not just on the racetrack, but on the road as well. And I think a lot of that can be owed to the fact that it was used in this really iconic championship.
Yeah, and this was the last car to have the IROC IROC badge and IROC trim level. So it really was the kind of the end of an era for a really cool range of Camaro cars.
Yeah, and it's got everything you'd expect from a muscle car, right? It's a front engine, rear-wheel drive, V8s, low profile and wide stand. So it just gives it that really cool sort of American muscle car look. Absolutely love it. And actually, you can change the way it looks with the hood as well. So if you go to the garage at the festival site and change the look of the car, you can actually switch out the hood for a VFN fiberglass hood. Or there's a really cool Forza Horizon 4 street hood, which has this massive hood scoop that completely changes the look and feel of the car. This car will be unlocked by completing 50% of Festival Playlist in winter.
Cool. Should we take a look at the next one? So next up, we have one more new car in this update, and it is the adorable the Honda S800. So this is from very early in Honda's life as an automaker. So this followed on from the S600, but they'd only really recently transitioned from being a motorbike manufacturer at this point. Obviously, they still made motorbikes, but this was one of their first cars. And for that reason, it has a motorbike engine in it. So yeah, you've used one of their 800cc inline-4 motorbike engines, but dropped it into this rather adorable little sports car body. And it has that really, I think, quite cute style and quite super stylish. You can just imagine driving around in the on a summer's day in like 1970 in one of these. You'd have looked absolutely awesome. Has 70 brake horsepower. That's 70. So that's 1/7 as powerful as the Corvette C8. But it makes up for that by being really adorable.
You're really complimentary of this one. It's just adorable and little and
It
small.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, if you've got a really long straight and the wind at your back, you might be able to reach about 97 mile an hour. But obviously, this is Horizon, so you can take that to the garage, add some upgrades, and I'm sure you can get much more than 97 miles an hour out of it. Dave, you were saying you turned one into a bit of a rally beast earlier.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I was playing on the build earlier this morning, and I actually took it through. You can put a rally engine in it, put some off-road tires on it, and it actually makes a pretty good off-road drag racer for the beach drag strip. It's really cool, and I suppose that's what I love about this car, right? Because you look at it and you think, oh, it's a very quaint car, but you can then just go and put a new engine in and just turn it into a bit of an off-road monster. So it's funny if you listen to the audio as well. Because it was using the motorbike engine, it actually had a high RPM, which was kind of a key attribute to this car, where it was getting around 10,000 RPM when it's at its peak. So it sounds like really screeching. So there's kind of this, like, you look at it, very lovely car, but it's got a real kind of screech, and really fun one to get. And so
I imagine Honda don't call that a screech, to be honest.
Screech, yeah.
I'm sure they don't put adorable in every single description of it as
tone.
well.
I think we go for tone. It's got a really
tone. But you can unlock this car by completing that 70s championship in spring in Festival Playlist, which makes a good segue. Should we have a look at Festival Playlist?
Let's do it. You took the words right out of my mouth. Let's go for it.
Brilliant. So, Series 31 at 50% series completion, you will get a backstage pass. If you don't know what that is, once you've earned it, you can take it to the Horizon backstage and get some of the rarest cars in the game. So make sure you use that. At 80%, you got the awesome Shelby Daytona as well. When we look at summer, at 50%, we have the Toyota Supra, the 1992 version. And at 80%, the 2018 Mercedes-Benz GT4. Now, for our photo challenge, we have hashtag Roman Roadster. You have to take a photo of any modern sports car in the Mortimer Gardens. What I love about the Mortimer Gardens is you've got a very scenic looking place, but filled with ramps as well. So your photo can be sort of looking at almost the beauty of the world, or you can go and have a lot of fun with it and jump over some ramps. Moving on. We've got the chance to get the BMW Z4 in the trial, a good old sport, and we're bringing back a Showcase Remix motocross purposes as well. And like we said earlier, you can get your Corvette C8 by completing the Find New Roads Seasonal Championship. Alongside that, you have the opportunity to get the Ford GT70 and the Bugatti Chiron, as well as some other cool prizes too. Moving on to autumn, at 50%, you'll be getting the GMC Typhoon. And at 80%, it is the beautiful Porsche Emery 356C. For our photo challenge, we have hashtag housewarming, where you have to take a photo of your car with the Gables. Now, the Gables is actually a player house, and it's the first player house we give you when you come to Horizon for free as a thank you for all your stunt work with Mike Steele. So that's the house that we use for that photo challenge. Moving on, you have the opportunity to get the Jaguar I-Pace again in the trial and the 2016 Renault Clio. And we look towards the other seasonal championships. We've got some clothing. We've got the Forza, the Volkswagen gear, and the 1990 Porsche 911 as well. Moving on to winter. So the Chevy Camaro, which we looked at earlier, the IROC, you can get that from completing 50% of the winter season. And at 80%, you've got the chance to get the McLaren 600 LT. For our photo challenge, we have hashtag landing rover. You've got to take a Land Rover and take it to the airstrip. Now, I love this photo because it's jumping off a ramp. There's quite a lot of ramps at the airstrip, so I would love to see a Land Rover mid-barrel roll for some of these photos. I think that would be quite cool. So see if you can do that. Moving on, we have the chance to get the Volkswagen Golf for 2010, and we also bring in the Assault on the Control Room Showcase Remix, that awesome Halo-themed showcase. And we also got the chance to get the GMC Cyclone, we've got the Jeep Wrangler, the Bertie design, as well as some cosmetics as well, which is cool. And then when we move on to spring, at 50%, you'll be getting the Bentley Turbo R, the very sophisticated car. And then the other end of the spectrum at 80%, you get the Formula Drift Nissan 370Z. For our photo challenge, we have hashtag Royal Miles Per Hour, where you have to take a photo of any hypercar with Edinburgh Castle. Obviously, that's a landmark that can be seen from quite a way off, so have some fun with that one. And moving on, we have the chance to get the 1974 Toyota Celica in the trial. And last but not least, the Honda S800, the car we just looked at, the very quaint car. You can get that by completing that 70s championship. Alongside that, you've got the chance to get the Bentley 8-litre, as well as some other cool prizes. It's just off screen, but the monthly rivals will be using the Corvette C8 as well. So if you think you are the best driver at the C8, make sure you put in your time for that as well. And there we have it.
Very nice. I'm always a big fan of seeing the Celica come back. Anyone who's not got that, make sure you go get it. Personal fave. Well, the Series 31 update actually goes live tomorrow. That is January 12th, wherever you are. But as always, Mike, Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to the both of you. So from me and everyone in chat, thanks for joining us and have a wonderful 2021.
Thanks so much, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
You.
And in case anybody didn't notice it, in case you weren't keeping notes, that's the 14th, this Thursday. Season changes to summer. You can grab your Corvette C8. Go get it. Bye, everyone. Bye.
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 Just a last minute note there. Well, coming up next, we have Corvette racing driver Jordan Taylor on the line. And here is his 2020 IMSA GTLM champion in action.
The championship, Pippo Durrani. Now we see the two Corvettes going at it. Ollie Gavin around the outside of Jordan Taylor there, side by side through the really tight twisty stuff.
This is going to be signs and scenes of yesteryear, where the Corvette teammates have battled fiercely here at Mid-Ohio. We'll see who wins this one today.
Hello, Jordan. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. How about you? Thanks for having me.
I'm very well. Thank you so much for asking. How has your year been going so far?
I'd say a little less exciting than last year. At this point, we had done a couple of days of testing at Daytona leading up to our big race at the Rolex at the end of the month. So this year, I just been home, training, getting ready for the big race.
Okay, you know what? Starting with races, let's go from there. You are coming off a highly impressive 2020 season, driving for Corvette Racing in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. as I've already said. How did it feel to actually win your second championship? As someone who's never won a thing, tell me how that feels like.
I mean, last year was amazing. I think coming out with Corvette Racing with the brand new car, the C8R mid-engine, it had a lot of hype and build up going into it. I mean, everyone knew the Corvettes for the front engine, ground rumbling V8s, and this car was so different. So for me to come back to GTLM to be a full-time Corvette driver was huge, and to start the year with, Daytona, it went pretty well. And then from there, we had COVID, and then once that kind of ended and our season came back around, we came back so strong and won 5 races in our car. I think the team won 6 races out of the 9 or 10 that we had all year. So it was a dominant season, and I think it speaks volumes for the team and, what Corvette did, in preparation for this year and designing this new C8.
Amazing. I mean, there's multiple reasons there. You said that this year is very different from the last time you won in 2017. Is there anything different specifically about the season or the cars, though, outside of world events?
Yeah, in 17, I was racing a prototype, a Cadillac DPI VR, and this year was in GTLM. So the drivability of the car is much different. A prototype is, designed purely for racing. It's, got lots of downforce, a little bit more power. So the driving style is a lot different. So for me, going back to GTLM was a big change, but one that I was really excited about. I was going back to something that I kind of grew up doing. So I love GT style racing. You really understand the fan base. The cars are very relatable to fans. You see what you see on the street. So for me, it's pretty cool.
Amazing. Now, I don't know if anyone knows here who's watching, but you aren't the only winner in your household, as your dad, Wayne, and your brother, Ricky, both brought home trophies last year as well. Can you please tell us what this special Taylor family secret must be? It's got to be something.
I think it's just a racing family. It's just what we love. We're all passionate about it, whether, no matter what time of day it is or what we're doing, racing is always a topic of conversation. So It was awesome to see, Ricky won the prototype championship last year. My dad won the Endurance Cup. So my mom's just, I guess, the happy one in the family. She's used to always having someone not happy after a race weekend. So at least our off season this year was a little bit happier for everybody.
Yeah, I bet. What's it actually like to race against your family? Like, are you a competitive family? Are you supportive? You say the mum's the glue, but is she like secretly pitting you all against each other?
I mean, she's got to live with my dad, so she probably will side with him most of the time.
Fair enough.
Ricky and I aren't the normal type of brothers that just want to beat each other on the racetrack. We both wanted to make a career in racing, so kind of growing up, we tried to stay separated in classes, whether I was in junior and he was in senior. We kind of grew up that way just to be separated. So it wasn't like, okay, this is the better brother, let's go with him. No matter what we did, we were always trying to help each other to succeed. And thankfully now, I'm with Corvette Racing, which is, one of the biggest sports car teams in the world and a place that most drivers want to be. And Ricky was with Team Penske the past 3 years and now an Acura driver. So we're both very happy and, honored and, blessed to have these careers so far.
I love that. And I mean, you mentioned Corvette, and in the previous section, we mentioned that the C8 is coming to Forza Horizon 4 tomorrow. I wonder if you had an opportunity to actually drive that one?
Not the street car, actually, just the race car. But I think it's going to be very relatable. I think everyone that's going to be able to drive it is going to be very excited and happy with it. I think if you've driven a Corvette in the past, one of the front engine cars, for me, I drove the race versions of the previous generations, the C6 and C7. And they just require such a unique driving style with the front engine and the weight distribution all the way at the front. You have to be very careful, very precise with all your inputs and your driving style. And now with the C8, it feels like a proper race car designed for racing, designed for performance. And you really feel that just driving it. It's very user-friendly. In endurance racing like we do, you really want a predictable car, but also a fast one. And it just gives you lots of positive feedback and really lets you know what the car is doing at all times. So every driver that's driven it so far has loved it. So I'm sure everyone out there is going to really enjoy it.
Amazing. Now, I have to apologize. I don't think I've even been in the room with a Corvette before. So can you maybe tell me a little bit about how the race cars differ from the production models you mentioned?
That's the nice thing about IMSA in our class is it's very close. The cars have to be based off the street car. When you go to prototype racing, which is what my brother was doing, like I was speaking about earlier, is the car is purely designed for performance. So the amazing thing for us with this new Corvette is a lot of it was designed through simulation with the Pratt & Miller simulator in Charlotte, where we basically designed almost the whole race car through simulation. And once it went to the racetrack, it was pretty much race ready, which is amazing. And for me, coming from a prototype, the driving style was much closer than a previous GT car. So if someone's playing around in Forza with a prototype, it's very nimble, it's very precise, it's got lots of downforce, very predictable. And when you go to, say, a GT car or sedan, it can be a little bit less predictable. And the way the weight distribution works, it's moving around a little slower. When you go to the C8 now, it feels much more like a prototype. It's much more precise. You know what it's going to do. So I think for all the race car drivers, we've loved it. Some of the guys coming from the previous generation Corvettes took some time to adjust to going back to driving, I'd say, like more normal. So I think it's definitely a positive, and I think it's definitely super exciting for me as a driver to be in it, looking to the future to see how much we can grow with this car.
I mean, amazing. Future is fantastic and stuff, but you mentioned you've driven previous models of racing Corvettes, and some of these specifically in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But I'm wondering, is there like much of a mental switch you have to do when it comes to the newer models? Does it feel like untouchable or sacred, and you can't do anything like, I don't want to say naughty, but you can't just like stick your foot down and go for it?
Yeah, I didn't say it out loud when I first got in the car, but I was thinking, like, I don't want to be the first one to crash a C8. That was my biggest thing. I don't want to be the first guy that scratches this car. So I think every driver is going to be like that. I mean, the car came out and it was so beautiful. Like some of the clips you guys were showing was the photo shoots at Daytona last year. And at that point, the car had, never really officially been seen in the public eye. And we had already been doing testing. So how do we crash one in testing? Maybe we wouldn't have the parts to go racing. So those parts are stressful, but I think, having the team and, history of this Corvette racing team behind me and all the trust they put in the mechanics and the engineers and the drivers is huge. And I think that's kind of what, made our year last year so special and so successful.
Amazing. It sounds like obviously you've spent a lot of time with Corvette. So I'm going to ask a very divisive question. I'm sure it's going to be controversial in chat who will have opinions. What is your favorite Corvette of all time ever?
I'd say, it's hard to not say the C8R now that we won the championship with.
Fair enough.
But I'd say one that I was lucky to drive was the 1976 Greenwood Corvette. The Greenwood brothers were famous in the 70s for building up their own Corvettes and racing in IMSA. And I drove it at Daytona and Laguna the past couple of years, and it's just a monster of a machine. And, you really feel the pure feeling of what a race car was like back in the day.
Amazing. I love that. I literally can't even compute what that would feel like. But instead of me getting introspective about what it's like to drive an actual car, I'm going to put the pressure back on you, because the 2021 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship starts in 11 days. Are you excited? Are you nervous?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think, for us coming back with the C8R the second year, we go into the Rolex 24. Last year, it was the first race for the car, and it's always difficult to go into our toughest race of the year, which is 24 hours with a brand new car that's obviously hasn't done a 24-hour race before. So it went well for our car, the 3 car last year. We finished 4th, but I think coming back now with a full season of running and testing, we feel a lot more confident going into it. We know what to expect. We won the Daytona sprint race last July, so we know the car can be quick on that type of track. So I think we're all excited to get back to racing.
Fingers crossed. Looking forward to seeing it. But I do need to be a little bit honest here. We obviously said we had you on the show to talk about cars and racing. But personally, I can't get enough of your Twitter account because your content is ridiculous. Do you take as much joy out of it and having a laugh as you do racing? Or do you have one that's your favorite? And,
Yeah, I guess to begin with, my career was just racing. And then I guess social media kind of came along at some point, and it became a fun, side gig kind of thing. And for me, when I follow someone on social media, I kind of want to see what they're like in real life, not necessarily their professional life. So my social media is kind of who I am as a person, not necessarily my career. There will be a couple pictures of racing, obviously, here and there, but I enjoy to show people who I am as a person. And, when we do get to the racetracks, and I guess before COVID, when we'd have, autograph sessions and everything, and seeing the fans, it's always fun to interact with them and be relatable to everyone else, just to show that, race car drivers, this is what we do for a living, but, we're super fortunate to be able to do it for a living. So we're just normal people. We want to, have fun as well. And just have a laugh every now and then.
All right. Well, I'm going to get you there because you say about being relatable and being yourself, but you've even managed to convince live TV sportscasters with your alter ego, Rodney Sandstorm. How did he come along?
Yeah, it's a weird one, but we drove with Jeff Gordon in 2017, and I was eating at an Italian restaurant with him for lunch, kind of the first day I met him, and people were coming up to ask him for his autograph just at a normal restaurant. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy's actually incredibly famous. I wonder if I could dress up as one of his fans and trick him. So I ordered a leather jacket off eBay. It smelled like cigarettes. So it's definitely an original jacket. And then I dressed up, grew a mustache, and tried to trick him to get a picture and an autograph, but he caught me. So the prank was kind of over, but once we posted it, people loved the whole story of it. So it's kind of grown into a life of its own.
I love the commitment to growing a mustache. And by the way, everyone in chat, you should all go follow Jordan10 Taylor on Twitter to see some more. But obviously I've bigged it up, so I do need to show you a little bit of a clip. So here's one of my personal favorites, which is your product review for a reflex ball. Check this out.
Okay, day one, take one, product review for the reflex ball. I got this baby off of a website called Amazon.com for $12. And the thing I like about this item the most is that not only are you enhancing your reflexes while using it, you're gonna look cool while doing it. And I like to just imagine myself right here mashing some ball during a reflex training sesh. A couple ladies walk in, one of them looks to her friend and she's just like, Courtney? Who is that guy? I have got to know him. Whoa! Human dilemma. That's the product review.
Every time I watch that, it's the bit where you go, Courtney, that makes me laugh so much.
It's honestly so embarrassing to watch.
It's excellent. When you start whipping that, it's superb. I just thank you for bringing Randy into this world, and best of luck to you, Randy, and Corvette Racing in the coming season. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of you both on Twitter. Please keep the Fonzie videos coming.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thanks again. Right, so up next, we don't have Randy, but we do have Ali Tak with the esports update. But first, we have your best images from the ugly sweater hashtag we put out over the holidays. Take a look at some of these. Hello, I would just like to very quickly point out that I called him Randy Sandstorm, and it's Rodney. There isn't a third alter ego coming at some point. We do, however, have Ali Tack here. How are you, my darling?
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, no, I am Randy Sandstorm. We're going to have it's going to be a triplet now. I'm unmasked.
Can we do this entire bit with you as Randy and I do that Christmas music in the background or something?
This is the bit when like the Phantom of the Opera is playing the spirit. It is I.
Ridiculous. Well, I'm glad you're well, Ali. I trust you had a
thank you.
lovely holiday period as well, where I heard that you had a chance to sit down with McLaren F1 driver Lando Norris, and I could tell by your face that you were very excited to play some Forza Horizon 4 for episode 3 of the Forza X McLaren series. Now, tell me all about that.
Yes, it was awesome. It started off with, I think, one of the greatest meetings and Zoom calls of my life, where I was told this would happen. and then I walked away from that meeting and I was like, well, that's going to happen at some point. And yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah, this has been a good day. and then, yeah, you know, he's an awesome guy, really funny, super genuine. I think, you know, he's a very famous streamer as well, of course. And, you know, someone who I think people feel like they know personally. I think they kind of do know him personally because, yeah, super just genuine. And, you know, when we were driving around together, I think as well, he was troublingly good at video games. Like, I think I'm good at video games. I feel it's a big part of who I think I am, Charlie. And so being beaten by Lando was just a difficult thing to get past.
Did you two get up to any naughtiness, any mischief while we were playing that we can expect to see?
It was, I mean, so what we do on these road trips, on the Forza McLaren road trips, we've done one with Bruno Senna, one with Patrick Gosling. We asked community members to set up challenges for us that we go through on the trip. And this was no different. We got some amazing community members who were very, very, I'm very thankful that they managed to take some time and make the challenges they did. And in the end, you know, it was just so much fun doing, just this kind of nutty stuff around the map on Forza Horizon with them. Yeah, it was very cool.
Amazing. Well, if that wasn't enough to keep you interested till after the show, which you absolutely should, by the way, we do have a little teaser for you all to look at to make your mind up yourself.
Oh, I'm going miles quicker.
220.
250.
Come on, McLaren.
Come on, baby.
I just went 7th gear. Hopefully that's going to help me out.
260.
250.
I don't know when to break.
Go.
That looks ludicrous, and the full episode of Lando Norris will air today at 12 p.m. Pacific time. In fact, that is directly after the show, so make sure you check it out. They should, shouldn't they, Ali? They really should.
Yeah, I think they should. Yeah, go and check it out. It's a lot of fun. That challenge was put together by Evan Raceboy Thorogood, and like the car was so fast and uncontrollable at high speeds. It didn't end well, so that you can check it out. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Keep your eyes peeled for that. So also last month, you were telling us about the Game Pass Cup, which is a 4-part bounty hunter rivals event in Forza Motorsport 7. We had Joseph Newgarden kicking off round 1, and they sent us a little update. But did you manage to beat him, Ali?
So yes, Joseph did fall to the might of my hot lapping prowess. It was a good time. I mean, Joseph was the bounty for that one. We had to beat him, but I also took it upon myself to create strong and lifelong rivalries with everyone that I passed. I think that's one of the fun things about rivals. If you beat someone and you're chasing their ghost on there, just drop them a little message, even if you don't know them. And it can be like, "Hey, great lap. GG. Not quite good enough, but great, GG."
Stick the knife in and turn it a little bit.
I can't believe you're saying that.
No, sorry, is that just me?
Completely, it's delicious. Yeah, it's so good. So that's what I've been doing. A little bit with my buddy Eternitum. He's been really nice, and I don't know that he knew truly who I was before this challenge, but I think he does now. Knows deep things about my psyche because I've been using him as my rival. So it's been amazing. The challenge that's happening right now, though, is no longer the Joseph Newgarden one. We're on round number 2. I'm the bounty for this one, so you can go out and chase against my lap time. If you beat me, you'll win the Ferrari 458 Speciale, probably the nicest car ever created. So it's worth trying to win, and so do your best out there. The track's the Bernese Alps, so it's all about flow. It's about running your lines really accentuated out over the lines, just one wheel on the track, way into the center of the corner, then pushing out again. The car doesn't have a lot of power, so you really have to run that momentum through the apex. It's an interesting challenge. I really enjoy this kind of a challenge. It's kind of I guess if you guys have ever run like Scirocco's or something like that out on a track, it's kind of that same kind of thing where it's like a lot of grip, not a lot of power, and so you've really got to conserve momentum all the way around the circuit.
Interesting. And how are you faring at the moment before you've told everyone in chat how to beat you and do the lap well?
So I thought I was doing all right. But actually, Eterniton, my great rival, he messaged me on Twitter showing that he'd beat me by like 0.5 of a second. So I'm not feeling good right now, chat. Yeah, so I've got to go out there, set another lap time. I'll be doing that on stream, though, right here on the Forza channel. You guys can check it out Saturday, I guess. Yeah, it'll be on Saturday. I'll be doing a bit more laps of that.
Awesome. Should we have a look at the schedule for the rest of the Game Pass Cup as well, actually, now you mention it?
Great. Yeah, there we go. So we're on round number 2 right now with me as a bounty. Round 3 will be Shannon McIntosh of Smack Attack here on the Forza channel. And you'll be racing against her. Round 4 will be Eterniton himself. Eterniton. I go forwards and backwards on how to pronounce his gamer tag. But he'll be the final bounty on February the 2nd. So it's going to be a fun one. I've had a little sneaky peek at the cars and tracks, and I think you guys are going to be really excited when you see them.
Wonderful. So just to wrap that bit up then, the Game Pass Cup continues until February, and there's still time to best that one and win the Ferrari 458. So make sure you're hopping on Forza Motorsport 7 and getting some laps in. But it's esports time, Ali. Let's talk. What happened last month?
So yeah, December in esports. Yeah, that's a good question, Charlie. So December's always a bit of a... It's always a bit of a sort of chill month for fans of esports out there, right? There's no majors really in December across the Christmas period. So you tend to kind of roll your, kind of relax a little bit, go into some more community-minded kind of events. And one of the series and one of the organizers who I was really keen on shouting out today is Delta Online Racing, because every single year, without fail, they wrap up their championships so nicely with some really lovely community events. And that's both from Delta Online Racing as a race organizer, but also as broadcasters, Delta Live TV. Both sides of that organization do loads of community work to kind of put something nice together. And they were kind enough to make a short highlights video as well of what they put together.
Let's have a look.
Hi, this is Delta Live TV. Commentators for that evening was myself, DY Kerfield and DY Cosver. Hope you all had a great Christmas, and we'll see you on the next one. Slipped in behind Rocket. Oh, a little bit of ducking and weaving even these two drivers.
Skyrock's already lost the place to Blackbird. He's trying to hold on at least to one RPM driver now. He's lost out to one of them already.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't just sense it into the that was a great step.
Get the cut back. I don't think Cam Vinard had that beautiful defending line there.
Yeah, Senna just runs on the inside grass and just loses power a little bit there. That problem.
Nice to dunk him, Sean. The speed of Vinard. Oh, he got put from behind by Angeloni. And again, the side of Angeloni. What's going on? But Bobby had to literally cut the whole track just to avoid collision, and Angeloni takes out his teammate. Oh! Wow, Bobby saved that, but he's going to lose out on the place to Angeloni.
Skyrock on the outside. Oh, Braddock runs deep. Oh, there's tires everywhere. There's free wide with Sean, with Braddock right behind him. And Brenna as well. He's made up some decent positions since the start. He started in P10, of course, with the reverse grid.
Sean's nipping the back end of Skyrocket.
Sit with Skyrocket at the exit of the bus stop, losing all of his positions.
Right,
he's going to be right at the back. So Eagle right behind Bobby. Can he get a better exit out of the bus stop? It's a very important exit there because it's a long straight. It's easy flat through these bank turns, you know. Especially with these cars that have so much downforce, and Can't get quite close
full
enough,
send!
but he sent him inside like he'd done in race 1 as well.
Oh, he's done him!
What a send from Skyrocker again.
I love that. The energy and the tires flying everywhere and the shock and all the drama. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that save from Bobby in race 1 with the car fishtailing like that. And somehow he got to stop. I don't know how he did that. And with that event as well, like, I know it's super nerdy, really, this, but like, I love the little production bits that they put together. It takes so long to make those little lower thirds and things to pop in underneath, saying the drivers' names. Did all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, really, really good event, really good show to watch back. Yeah.
Full shout out, full nerd on everything. That's what 2021 is about, is going full nerd.
That's right. I've been holding back. I've been holding back, Charlie.
You're like
Finally,
I'm
gonna let myself go. Yeah.
Perfect. In fact, talking about 2021, I hear the first endurance race of the Forza year is actually almost here as well.
That's right. So this one is upcoming, I think, on the 16th. Ooh, put myself on the spot there a little bit with that date. Next Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be the Tora Daytona 24. So this is an event not on the esports calendar just yet, but just going to give it a shout out before I talk about what's on the calendar. This is a massive community event, a 24-hour race. You guys should just, if you're free at all that day on the Saturday and Sunday, just go onto Twitch and search Forza Motorsport 7, and you'll see like everyone from the community is going to come out and stream. It's such a fun like event, and I love it for this, that you can just go out there and see everyone who like streams Forza ever is going to be up streaming that day. And you can say like follow and get like completely immersed in that community really, really quickly. So it's a really fun event for that reason. But right here, speaking to what's on the screen right now, the esports calendar, yes, we've got a good week up ahead of us. So tank pool racing. Anyone who knows me knows I love trucks. I couldn't help but put that on the calendar. It's going to be on the 16th. If you're not racing in the D24, then get out there and race some trucks. They're awesome fun. We've got Time Travel Trophy, another awesome title for the event from the Racing Buddies Historic Motorsport League. Then after that, McLaren GT3 series for people who like GT cars. I like GT cars. Other people might as well. There's the Mazda MX-5 Cup with the Paddock Sim. And then, that's right, Elite Tier Racing are joining up with RBHM. That's the same people from the Time Travel Trophy, the Racing Buddies Historic Motorsport organization, and running a 911 Cup. I think that's going to be a really interesting one to watch. I'm seeing some pretty good signups for that already. And the final one is like a potluck. I have no idea what that event is. I just saw it. I saw it on the calendar. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to put that in. It's the XMBS test event. If any of you guys out there are like, I just want to race something. Don't tell me what it is. Don't tell me what I want to surprise me. This is the chef's choice tick on the menu. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I will see you there for all of them, Ali. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and I will see you very soon. All right, bud?
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. See you later.
Bye. Right, well, coming up, we are going to shine the community spotlight on a rising star in the Forza photography community, Psycho Blonde Gal. But first, let's take a look at some of her photos. Hello there, and welcome to the show,
Hi.
Psycho Blonde Gal. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great, thank you. I'm reading the chat right now, and people are going insane. People have been waiting so long for this. It's crazy.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'm so glad you're here. So we're going to dive immediately into it because this is an area of the game that I'm thoroughly fascinated by. You're a Forza photographer. But first of all, how did you get into the Forza side of things?
Okay, so I've been playing since Horizon 2. I didn't really know the game much when I was playing Horizon 2. I think I had it on like Xbox 360. I haven't been playing Horizon 3 much either. I mainly got into it in Horizon 4. I played the motorsport games a fair bit too. But I've been in quite a few group pages on Facebook, and that's how I mainly got into the whole photography side. But first, I started off with designing, doing like loads of deliveries for people. I'm hoping to maybe get back into that this year because people are starting to convince me. I'm like, I might just do that.
So what sort of liveries are you into making? Before we move on to like the other fascinating stuff you do in photography, but what kind of liveries do you make? I didn't know about this.
It wasn't like really big liveries. It was more like geometrical, like just little shape things. I did drift liveries too, and I did like personal ones for other people. I did them for free because some people pay, and it's ridiculous prices. Yeah. But I haven't done it for like a year now because I found the passion for photography instead. So I thought I'm gonna put my creativity into that for a while first.
Amazing. Well, me and Ali just said it's time to go 100% nerd this year. So I say this is the year you get back into the liveries, and I cannot wait to see the world using yours. But going back to the photography, at what point in you getting into Forza Horizon 4 did you, go into photo mode a little bit more than you did driving mode?
I've always been in the photo mode side of it, but I never really messed about with the settings because I didn't understand them that much. But over time, I figured them out, or what them meant, or whatever looks better. Because some people just use the settings that Forza gives you immediately. But it's better to mess about with them. Yeah, it's better to mess about with them to like what your style suits.
Amazing. So can we start to get and have a look at some of the pictures that you have done? Because I wanted to ask you, are you into like IRL photography as well, or are you just a Forza photographer?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get back into real life photography this year. But obviously COVID has been terrible. We're in lockdown again, which isn't very fun. So we're trying not to go out too much. I have got a proper professional camera, but it's figuring out how to use it, which is tough.
Which camera have you got, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't even know. I know it's a Canon, and it's one of the really big ones. I know it's not cheap, to say the least.
To be honest, that's as much as I know about cameras anyway, so you've given me all the information I need.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what is it that you love about shooting photos in Forza and keeps making you come back?
It's the fact of finding something different each time. Depending on what car it is, you can get different details, or you can do scenery. So if it's like a sunset, you can go to one of the mountains or something, or it's just like new details every time, and then just expanding your boundaries for what you want to do.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of like figuring out the cars, figuring out the map, and actually, understanding it sort of to a degree, a higher level that some people like me, for example, I just race in the game. I imagine you're more familiar with some of the really intricate areas of like the towns all over the place. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's always like the tiny little places those photographers find. And it's amazing because some people take photos in Forza and it's like, where on earth is that place? And it can just be a road that you drive down every day.
But because you're going down at 260 miles per hour, you've never noticed that one thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how would you say your style has evolved since you've been going? You said you've been playing this for a little while. So where did you start and sort of where have you found yourself now?
I used to do like cold and creepy dark edits, which I still like doing every now and then. But I figured out brighter photos do a lot more better because people can see more details. But every now and then I do go back to my roots because everyone's got to do that once in a while just to see where they came from. But you can see how far you've evolved. So I used to do like dark photos, but now I can do them a lot better than I used to.
And that's just playing with the light settings or, choosing different seasons to capture in, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you put a lot of research into the pictures that you take? Do you go, today I'm going to take a picture next to that big horse on the mountain and I'm going to do it in a red car and it's this one? Or do you just let inspiration flow?
For me, I just wing it. Most people don't do that, but I prefer just winging it. I wing life. I wing photos. It's the best thing to do because then it's not planned, because your plan can always go wrong, which isn't what you want to happen. But you can choose any colour, any car, any place, anything.
Amazing. Can you tell us much about this one that we have up at the moment, actually? Because I love that shot with the train in the background.
Yeah, that's one of my recent ones, actually. That's when I'm starting to do like clean edits again. This is a photo that I actually did a very long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was when I was starting out as well, but I wanted to go back to it with the same car and everything. And I thought, right, I'm going to do this and we're going to see what I can work with. And I got a lot more better angles, and I just love how they turn out because they look so natural.
It's absolutely stunning. It's people like Forza photographers that remind me just how stunning and like lifelike Forza Horizon 4 actually looks. And now I mention, you know, Forza photographers, there's quite a lot of them in the community. So do you have any tips or tricks on how you find, you know, standing out is best?
Always switch up your styles. Never stick with a style. Some people do that and some people can do really well at it. But for most people, it doesn't work out. I was doing orange tones and like sunset looks for a very long time. And it got so boring and people kept saying, you need to change your style up because you're starting to blend in and everyone's doing it. So as soon as you start to realize other people are doing it, you need to switch it up.
Yeah, you need to invent another reason to be, you know, top class, and then everyone will follow your inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Have you ever collaborated with any other creators?
Yeah, I've collabed with quite a few people actually. The person who got me into photography, like virtual photography, he was the first person I did a collab with, and throughout this community, me and him have ended up becoming like actual relationship partners. And he's called Certain Media. He's very well known in the community. He's always inspired me, and now we're like inspiring each other. And you can see in my Trans Am post right there, that's actually collabing with Certain Media, because it was so special because the Trans Ams mean so much to me. And I thought I want to do it with a special car, with a special person, and go back to my roots again.
Oh, I love that. Would you recommend, is collabing a really good thing you would recommend to other photographers?
Definitely. If it's a smaller photographer, try and reach out to a bigger photographer and collab. And then they can get your name out there, or you can do an edit collab. So you take the photos, they edit, and then you can build the name from there.
That's a great idea. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to plug the fact that you co-own the Community Central Discord server and the Instagram channel. Can you tell us a bit more about what Community Central is and why it's so important to what you literally just said about collaboration?
Yeah, so Community Central is all about virtual photography, no matter what. It's involved in any game. It used to be mainly Forza, but now we're including other games for other people. We've got an actual channel section for edit collabs and then actual photo collabs. So you've got different channels for different things. So many people have made different friends. You can share your posts there. We've got a community edits channel. So you post a raw edit and then someone else can edit it and then see how people do it. And then you could do a collab that way.
Amazing. So is there any like links or apps you want to shout out for anyone who's watching so they can come get involved?
Yeah, so my Instagram account, I've got the Discord link in my bio, so you can join it from there. I'm pretty sure everyone knows my app by now, Psycho Blongo. And then the Instagram page is Community Central.
Wonderful. Perfect. So back to the photography. Have you done any events recently? A little birdie said you've got some pretty cool Christmas photos.
Yeah, we did a Christmas competition. Yeah, that was my Christmas special that I did because I was planning on it. And luckily for me, I post in rows. So it's like one set per row. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, right, so I can post Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day. So then it works out perfectly. Mm-hmm. And then the whole post thing I did Nightmare Before Christmas on Christmas Eve, which made sense. I did the Christmas one on Christmas Day. Yep. And then I did the Grinch on Boxing Day saying, oh, did the Grinch steal your Christmas? It's like a little bit of a joke with the people. So yeah, the Christmas competition was quite fun. It was the first one we did though, so there wasn't many people involved, but I'm hoping to get more people involved soon because I'm thinking of maybe hosting another competition next week.
Oh, amazing. Well, stay tuned for that. I want to know more about this. So what is it that's distinctly Christmas? I know you've done like the Grinch and Nightmare Before Christmas, but are those special liveries you've got on the cars as well?
It was just random liveries. I went on to like find a design. I was thinking, right, let's find a design. Don't choose a car to do it on. Let's just find a design that I like first. And then I based it around that. It was no thought process behind it. 3 designs and then 3 different sceneries behind it.
Amazing. Well, I've got to say, you are incredibly inspirational. Is just to get up and do it. Like, there's plenty in game to find beauty wise. There's enough amazing liveries as well for people to get stuck in with. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully everyone else has found you just as inspirational as I have. Keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to seeing this next competition.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect. Well, if you think you know someone in the community that you would like to see featured in a community spotlight on a future Forza Monthly, you can nominate them right here. The address is coming up. You ready? It's aka.ms/Forza Spotlight. Or you can just write it down right there, because I'm sure my accent butchered some of that URL. Perfect. Well, that's it for January edition of Forza Monthly. But stay tuned, as I said earlier, right here for episode 3 of the Forza X McLaren series. Lando Norris will be joining Ali Tak on a high-tech and high-flying adventure through the world of Forza Horizon 4 that I promise you do not want to miss. You can also catch Smack Attack following that and tune in all week for even more Forza fun. I want to give a huge thank you to all the guests for joining us today and all of you watching at home. I'm Charlie Hodson, and I will leave you with the best submitted photos from the Forza 2077 hashtag. Until next time, bye-bye!